You defended them once. You remember the exact moment someone said something unkind about them at a gathering, and you spoke up. You said, "No, that is not who they are." You vouched for them without hesitation because that is what you do for the people you trust. And then weeks later, maybe months, you found out that the same person had been saying things about you. Not to strangers, to the people in your circle, the people you share. You did not feel angry at first. You felt something stranger, a cold, quiet confusion, because it was not supposed to be them. It was never supposed to be them. There is someone who understood this more deeply than anyone. His name was Schopenhauer. Arthur Schopenhauer was a 19th century German philosopher who spent most of his life watching human beings lie to themselves and to each other. He was not optimistic about what he saw. He believed that underneath every social bond, every friendship, every loyalty, there's a force he called the will, a blind, insatiable drive that pushes people to protect themselves, to advance themselves, to survive. And when that drive feels threatened by your success, your happiness, or simply your existence, it does not care what you once meant to each other. In this video, we will look at 5 reasons why the people closest to you are the first to betray you. Stay until the end. Number 4 is the one most people never talk about. The first reason is called the mirror they cannot stand. You know this person well. You grew up together, or you built something together, or you spent years in the same rooms. And somewhere along the way, you changed. You got better at something. You became more confident, more successful, or simply more at peace with yourself. And instead of celebrating that, they went quiet. Then they got sharp. Schopenhauer understood that proximity creates comparison, and comparison creates suffering. When someone watches you become who they wanted to be, your progress does not inspire them. It indicts them. Your growth becomes evidence of their stagnation, and they cannot forgive you for holding up that mirror. The will, as Schopenhauer described it, does not respond to your friend's happiness by becoming generous. It responds to your friend's happiness by feeling diminished. Proximity did not make them loyal. It made them competitive in ways they would never admit out loud. The closer someone is to you, the more your wins cost them. The second reason is called the debt they resent repaying. You helped them. Maybe you lent money, or gave time, or carried them through something difficult. You did not keep score because that is not who you are, but they kept score. Schopenhauer wrote that gratitude is the rarest of human virtues, not because people are evil, but because genuine gratitude requires a person to acknowledge their own weakness. It requires them to sit with the memory of needing you, and some people cannot do that. The resentment does not come from what you took from them. It comes from what you gave. Every act of generosity leaves an invisible ledger, and some people would rather burn the relationship than remain in your debt. What looks like betrayal is often just someone trying to clear a balance they never asked for. The third reason is called the person you made safe. You were the one who created the conditions for them to be honest. You were patient, you were open, you did not judge. And so they told you things. Private things. Fears, failures, ambitions, shames. You held all of it carefully. But here is what Schopenhauer knew about vulnerability. It creates terror. Once a person has shown you who they really are, a part of them will never stop waiting for you to use it against them. The intimacy you built together does not make them feel safe. Over time, it makes them feel exposed. And an exposed person, Schopenhauer observed, will sometimes strike first, simply to take back the power of surprise. The person you made feel seen is sometimes the most dangerous person in your life. Not because they are cruel, because they are afraid. The fourth reason is the one nobody talks about. Is called the loyalty that outlived the story. Every relationship is built on a shared version of reality. Who you are, who they are, what you mean to each other. But people change, and sometimes the story changes too, and nobody says it out loud. You are still operating under the old agreement. You still believe you are in the same chapter, and they are already somewhere else, already rewriting the history of the two of you, already constructing a version of events in which betraying you makes sense. Schopenhauer believed that most human conflict is not caused by malice. It is caused by the fact that two people are rarely living in the same moment at the same time. The loyalty you felt was real. but it belonged to a version of them that no longer exists. You were not betrayed by your friend. You were betrayed by your refusal to see that the friendship had already ended. The fifth reason is called the witness they need to silence. You saw them at their worst. You were there when they failed, when they lied, when they made the choice they are now ashamed of. You never brought it up. You never used it. But they cannot know that you never will. Schopenhauer argued that the will is not rational. It does not weigh evidence and conclude that you are trustworthy. It feels the risk and eliminates it. A person who has something to hide does not calculate whether you are safe. They calculate whether you are present. And the safest way to silence a witness is to discredit them before they speak. The betrayal was not about you. It was about what you know. Here is the truth underneath all of this. The people who hurt you most were not monsters. They were people who needed something: security, superiority, relief, and you were in the way of it. Schopenhauer did not write about betrayal as a moral failure. He wrote about it as a mechanical one. The will moves through people the way water moves through a house. It finds the weakest point, and it goes there. The fact that the weakest point was you, the fact that the softest place in their armor was the place where you stood, that does not mean you were wrong to stand there. It means you were real to them. Nobody betrays a stranger. They betray the people who mattered enough to threaten them. 1. Accept that closeness is risk, not protection. 2. Stop mistaking history for loyalty. The years do not bind anyone who has decided to leave. 3. Watch what people do with your vulnerability before you give them more of it. 4. When someone shows you resentment where there should be gratitude, believe them immediately. 5. Do not ask why they did it. Ask what it cost you to have been that open and whether you would choose it again. Go back to that moment, the gathering, the person you defended. You spoke up because you believed in them. And Schopenhauer would not tell you that you were naive. He would tell you something harder. He would tell you that the capacity to vouch for someone, to put yourself in front of them, to say this person is worth protecting, that capacity is not a weakness, is the only thing that separates you from the will itself. The betrayal did not reveal something wrong with you. It revealed something you had that they did not. The real tragedy was not that they turned on you. The real tragedy is that they could not afford to deserve you. If this video names something you have been carrying, share it with someone who needs to hear it.